while I was there, I was constantly doing plays. I was off doing pub theatre, mostly in community theatre and stuff. And the head of department sat me down and said, "Hey, you're taking the piss. We'll keep the place open for you, and you can go off and see if you can be an actor, but you can't do the two things at the same time at the moment. He said, because the workload would be too much." And so that's what I did. I said, "Okay, I'll have a go." And then it all worked out, fortunately.
I wanted to ask you quickly about this. I watched a film a while back called Hoodlum, which you starred, and you played
oh, yeah.
Dutch Schultz. Now, I heard that you went to because Dutch Schultz was known as a pretty hardcore gangster.
He was a psychopath.
He was an absolute psychopath. And you played it so differently. I mean, is it true that you went to the director and said, "I want to play this as a kind of 30s gangster"? Or, I mean, how did...
Yeah, Bill was brilliant about it. I don't like the sort of whispering acting bad guy stuff, It's a contagious disease, and all actors do it. I don't know why they do it, but anyway, maybe I don't know. But I wanted to do it. I wanted to be in a proper Tommy gun movie. So maybe I was forcing the issue, but I wanted to do what Cagney did and those guys did. So the character was kind of a cross between Bugs Bunny and Jimmy Cagney, really. I'm loud, and we tried to figure out every single racial kind of slur that you could possibly come up with, and try and cram them all into the character, And it was fun. I had a lot of fun making that. The film in the end, wasn't, I guess, what they imagined it could be, but it was fun. I liked working with Lawrence, and I like playing that character. It's hilarious.
One of the things that I was looking at was this guy, Dutch Schultz, and he's so hardcore, and then the way you played it, I thought it was just such a brilliant contrast. I mean, did you actually do any research on him beforehand, or was it just like, this is going to be my performance, I'm going to do it differently?
No, I read a bunch of stuff about him, and he was a terrifying guy, and he wouldn't kowtow to the mob. He was his own mob, and they had to come to him, and then eventually they shot him dead. But it took him, and then it took him 3 days to die, but they didn't get into that in the film. And he made this extraordinary kind of deathbed rambling, not confession, but it was this monologue that he did. Kept talking, and someone in the room took it all down. And later on, William Burroughs turned it into I don't know if it was a film script or whatever, which they published it as a script of some kind. Very interesting. I thought he was, so I just got into that, and then I just made him up, But I thought it was a fun gangster to play.
Having worked with some of the more established directors, obviously like Quentin and Francis Ford Coppola, did a film with him as well. What would you say is the best part about working with these directors? I mean, compared with working with the somewhat lesser-known directors, I mean, you worked with Louis Leterrier for The Incredible Hulk.
Yeah, but you got to remember, I worked with Quentin on his first film, so he wasn't established when I was working with him. We were established, and he wasn't. I never make any comparison between people who've done a lot of work and people who haven't, because some of the people that I work with who've on their first jobs or second jobs or whatever are better than some of the ones I've worked with who've done a lot. It's what it's what it's your feeling behind, your passion behind behind your script, and it's also doing your homework. If you do a lot of homework, it doesn't matter if you haven't made a film yet. If you've done your homework, you'll be able to do it. And also, if you rely on the people, if you openly ask questions and openly ask for advice from the people around you, you'll do all right. If you try and pretend that you know what you're doing when you don't, that's when you fall. And the directors who've had a long, history, like Francis and those guys, best thing about them, I mean, the filming process is the same, except the vision that's coming out of their heads is different, it's skewed, because they have a history of their own to bring to it, or they want to play with something completely different, like Francis did. It's some bizarre kind of weird thing about age and how he feels about it, and shoot it on digital and experiment and play around. Mostly, the best thing about working with those guys is just sit down and listen, because they've got some great stories, really great stories. And the best time is when you're having a glass of wine and you're sitting in a bar or something, or in a restaurant, and then they kick in and they start going, and that's really fun. It's a lot of fun.
I know we were talking about Louis earlier. One of your better-known works recently has been your performance in the new Incredible Hulk movie, which also stars Edward Norton. Now, how did you come to be in the film? And looking back, how does it now feel to go down in history as portraying an Incredible Hulk villain?
Well, I did it. What happened was I was up in New York. I think I did this film called Funny Games, very, very depressing and sad film. And I was knackered. I was beat, I was leaving. I was just about to get on the plane and come back to California, and they said, "Wait a minute, hold on. There's this guy who wants to meet you about doing the Hulk movie," which I thought was hilarious. And then I hung about, and I took a late flight, and I met Louis, and he showed me what he wanted to do. You know, he kind of, showed me the initial drawings and concepts and what the story was based on, and it was before even Ed was on board. And it was, I just thought it'd be fun. I actually, I didn't say I was going to do it. I said, I really want to go talk to my boys about this, see if this is a good idea, see if they think it's a cool thing to do. And because if you get involved in any of those franchises, if they take you in it for a long haul. And the boys went, "Do it!" So I did it, and I just thought it was a lot of fun. I thought it was a lot of fun because I like going to that Comic-Con thing, and I think it's all those big comic conventions and all of that stuff. I think they're all the giggle really, and the people are nice, and it was nice running around in Brazil, chasing a big green monster.
I mean, one of the great things I think about it was because it was just coming off, because they remade it, and then there was another Hulk film before that which was with Eric Bana, and it didn't do so well. Did you look at that before you did this film?
No, I haven't seen it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I thought because it was a different. That was an origins movie, what they call those things, and this was just a story with the Hulk. It was as though the origins was done, so now let's move to the next stage. So I didn't look at it. I mean, I used to read the Hulk comic book when I was a kid, and that was one of my favorite characters. So I knew a bit about him, and then I thought, I'm just going to go into this blind. I read the script, dealt with the scripts, worked on the notes and rewrites, and played around with the idea of the character. And they give you a certain amount of screen time, and you go for it. I thought he was kind of an interesting guy, the character.
Are you doing the sequel? If they were doing sequels, are you doing them? I heard you were contract.
Yeah, no, if they want me, basically what you do when you sign on with these guys is they got me for 3 movies. So if they want to, whenever and however, if ever, they want to use Blonsky and the Abomination, then I get involved at that point. And I had a good relationship with those guys. They're a funny mob. Over at Marvel. I quite like them all. So hopefully I'll come back in some kind of, maybe in a later movie when they get all the, when they're doing the big superhero group movies and stuff, which they're planning to do. So maybe we'll come back and do a piece in that. It'd be fun.
That'd be awesome. Over the past few days, there's been a lot of controversy over, I don't know how much you know about this, over a recording of Christian Bale having an argument on the set.
I've heard about this. You know why? Because they're talking about it over here as well.
Yeah, I wanted to get your thoughts on the situation, because I was thinking about it, and it must be tough as an actor to get into the mind frame for a scene, and then someone on the set sabotage it, maybe, accidentally or not, so it's kind of tough on the actor. I mean, what are your thoughts on the whole thing?
Well, my feeling, I don't know the situation that he was in, but, there's certain scenes in a film which require a level of concentration. We don't get much time to do what we do. Most of the time the set is setting up. So most of the day that's spent filming is technical. That's when the crew gets to do their stuff and get ready. Then we get our shot, sometimes, at the end of the day or whatever. And it's a limited amount of time that we get to spend on doing the scene, and then you get to see the scene. So, apparently it was a particularly difficult scene. It's a central thing. What tantrums happen on set. People get shouted at. I've done it. I've been shouted at. Fair enough,